So we're not starting from here then, by the look of things. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Yeah, looks flat anyway, so we can manage with that. Yeah, a bit of a total change this time. Now, you might remember a few years ago on the org forum there was somebody called Forkboy who made lots of US ortho. Now, back then I did download 3 parts of it as California, Nevada and Arizona. Yeah, I hardly ever use it, but I do still have it, so I thought, yeah, why not? Let's have an American flight today. Don't think America has ever featured in one of my videos before, so that's something new. Yeah, and just picking random places which are within the boundaries of that ortho. This is Reno International. Quick look on the map, it seems that if we fly south from here we'll get to Carson City. That has an airfield, so we can try landing there. That's about the extent of the flight plan, but I'm sure we'll be okay anyway. Also sure we'll be okay taking off at this intersection too. No need to taxi all the way down to the start of the runway, and I'm sure I'd get just as bored driving all the way down there as you would watching me do it, so yeah, this will do. Let's go flying instead. That's much more interesting. Okay, let's go. Seems like Southwest might use this place a lot, looking at all their aircraft over there. Then again, I suppose both the city and the airport are quite big, so I would assume lots of different airlines do use the place. It actually seems like quite a nice airfield. They've made a good job of it, whoever made this one. Especially considering all the limitations and the things that you can't do when making a gateway default airfield. Yeah, it is very restrictive on the stuff that you can use, as opposed to an add-on airfield scenery, which is why I'll never ever do gateway stuff myself. But yeah, no, this one is pretty good. Yeah, pat on the back for the designer, whoever you were. So, Olympics then, and first of all, I think I owe a big apology to the Paris 2024 opening ceremony. Now, in the last video, I was saying, you know, it was a bit rubbish, but looking at all the comments and the reactions to the opening ceremony, it's totally triggered a load of religious people, and that's just really, really funny. Yeah, so thanks Paris for the opportunity to see hypocrites crying on Twitter. That's never not going to amuse me. It seems to be the depiction of the Last Supper which is the big thing for them, with fat woman at the centre of the table, a guy in a dress and things like that. It's a parody, people, it's satire. It's actually a great example of freedom of speech. Although freedom of speech, and even more so freedom of thought, religions do hate that, don't they? So, but back to the sport, and yeah, I see we have our first drug cheat. A female Nigerian boxer tested positive for something or other. Yeah, I would have lost a bet with that one. Clearly Russia would always be my favourites, but without them at the games as a country, I'd have been putting my money on China for the first failed doping test. In fact, it reminds me, I can't remember which Olympics it was, but fairly early on in those games, a Chinese competitor tested positive for something. Then I can only imagine the conversation between the Chinese and managers and officials in private. And, oh crap, we didn't know they had a test to detect that drug. Then the next day, about 30 or 40 Chinese athletes all quietly left the games and went home again, in totally not suspicious circumstances at all. Yeah, I think I saw somewhere there are 4 nations at this year's games with only 1 person. That would be quite funny, really, if one of those returned a positive test, wouldn't it? As then, essentially, your entire country has been suspended and sent home. But for sport that is happening, my panicked rush to change the channel was not quite quick enough, unfortunately. And I have now accidentally seen about 3 seconds of the dressage event. Yep, the horse dancing. I mean, it's nice that there's a huge variety of sports in the Olympics. You get to see a lot of different things, and we'll all have our own favourites and decide some are more entertaining than others. But dressage? Holy crap, that's terrible. Yeah, and actually, here's something I found out only yesterday. A quiz question for you. If you don't know the answer, I'll tell you a bit later in the video to give you some time to think. There is one of the sports in this year's Paris Olympics where, forget not taking place in Paris, it's not even taking place in Europe. What sport is it? Yeah, a slight turn over to the right, as the map tells me that close to the road over there is a small airstrip. Looks like it will probably be a little grass or dirt runway kind of thing. So I'm not expecting anything spectacular, but we may as well have a look. Yeah, the far end of this lake here, yeah, just over that little ridge of the hills, that's where Carson City is, so nearly at our destination anyway, so not much of a detour. It's just over that ridge there, and the buildings both left and right of the lake, I think they're the same place under the name of New Horseshoe City. Yeah, so down there somewhere. Can't see anything obvious just yet. I don't know, that's just normal roads and streets, isn't it? Might have even possibly flown past it. Hold on a minute. Buttons. Yeah, there it is. Just a grass runway and nothing else by the look of things. We're not missing out on much by not landing at Bailey Ranch airstrip. Okay, here's a strange connection that has somehow just arrived in my head and said hello. That airfield was Bailey Ranch, with Bailey being the operative word here. Now, this would be late 1970s kind of time at a guess, but there was once a singer called Judie Tzuke, and I think that's how you pronounce her surname. Tzuke. Anyway, she had a bit of a hit with a song called Stay With Me Till Dawn. And that may well have been her one and only success, so she was a bit of a one-hit wonder, and you might not recognise the name. And I'll show you a sunset if you'll stay with me till dawn. Yeah, that was it, although she was in tune when she sang it. For some reason, I seem to remember she also had massive teeth, but I could be wrong with that. Anyway, she had a daughter called Bailey Tzuke, and just like her mom, Bailey also had one song that achieved some success, which was it was a cover of the Alanis Morissette song Uninvited. Now, I believe the actual record was a more up-tempo kind of thing with dance beats, but she performed it once on a TV show as a much more slowed down and acoustic-y kind of style of thing. And to me that just perfectly suited the song, showcased her talents, and I thought it was really good. I'll try and find it and put a link in the description if anybody is interested. But apart from liking that one performance, I also thought Bailey was quite pretty as well. Yeah, she didn't have massive teeth like her mom. Yeah, so that was a bonus. Yeah, so that's the airfield then. Yeah, looked like it was flat enough ground, so should hopefully be okay. Find out for sure on final approach as we'll circle around and come back into land. But as we are getting closer now, the quiz question. The Paris Olympics surfing event. Yeah, it's currently taking place in Tahiti, I believe. So yeah, close, not too far away. Yeah, well, going back to an earlier topic, I wonder if the rules for that are different. Surfers get kicked out, shunned, and nobody ever speaks to them again if they don't test positive for cannabis. Yeah, I don't know. But it is still a shame they couldn't have put some kind of big wave generator in the River Seine in Paris, though, so the surfers would have been able to enjoy and partake in the whole atmosphere of being there, of mixing with people in the Olympic Village and having the full experience. And okay, the wave generator might have flooded large parts of the city close to the riverbanks, but I think that's a small price to pay to have it all in one place. Yeah, they should have definitely looked into that. Yeah, it does seem like it's flat enough, so we should be okay. Yeah, and approaching this way, we'll also pass by the house on the left where Jerome lives. Yesterday he went to McDonald's and ordered 2 large fries, but they gave him 75 little ones. Yeah, should we try and land a plane? Yeah, that's probably for the best, isn't it? Okay, so doing alright, little bit of wind, not much, that's not going to bother us I don't think. Get back on the centre line, a bit better. Doing okay. Come on then. Yeah, seems perfectly acceptable. No problem there. And try a landing replay. which after the last video with the Cirrus in Japan might not be the best idea, but we'll keep our fingers crossed when we turn it off again. Yeah, that was okay. Yeah, so this is Carson City Airfield, which seems functional, we'll call it. Nothing particularly pretty or interesting about it, but yeah, it's functional. Seems like a parking area there, so go and dump our plane, and that will do before a few final extra thoughts. Cool. So yeah, Carson City. Don't know if the bar is still there, but I was in a place here by myself when a group of people came over and said, "No need to be alone, come join us." And I had a really great evening in the end. All of them absolutely lovely people, totally not judgmental, not bigots in any way at all. They were just really welcoming and friendly. We even all went out to dinner later on, and that was really nice too. Very enjoyable. Okay then, I'll see you next time. Bye.